Roll, step forward, please. I'm going to say the oath, and if you agree with me, just say I do. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
No movement while the oath is being administered. All right. I swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I should give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do swear.
Thank you. Please take your place. Mr. Roll, take your place. All rise. The Honorable Judge Carol Munnings presiding. You may be seated. Your Honor, the parties have already been sworn in and ready to proceed.
Thank you, Corporal Mackey.
Welcome on.
Betty Curie is suing Harrison Roll and Memory's Funeral Home for $2,000 plus damages after she says he did not provide proper burial arrangements for her brother's funeral. Harrison Roll says he fulfilled his end of the contract and therefore owes nothing.
Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Right, I understand from the papers I have in front of me, Ms. Carey, you're claiming from the Memory's Funeral Home the sum of $2,000, which you say they were supposed to prepare a double grave for your brother when your brother had died in 2016.
Yes, ma'am.
And they didn't prepare the grave, so you're back for the $2,000 you paid plus additional damages.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Roll, I understand that you're saying that the funeral home no longer exists and is bankrupt. Is that what you're saying?
That is correct, Your Honor.
I see. Okay, well, I'm going to hear from Ms. Carey regarding her claim, and then I will hear what your defense is. I'll hear more about your defense. Yes, ma'am?
Well, Your Honor, like you said, I just came for my $2,000. And also, he was supposed to return the shoes last time, but he did not return my brother's shoes.
Oh.
My brother's brand new shoes. And he told me that he threw them in the garbage. I don't know.
All right, the shoes. Okay, so now, okay, the papers I have didn't mention about shoes, but let's get to the plot first and the digging of the grave. And so that I don't have to keep saying brother, perhaps you could tell me your brother's name.
Justin.
Justin. He was
Yes,
also
ma'am.
Carey?
No, ma'am. Justin Jones.
Your brother was Justin Jones.
Yes,
okay. All right, so you were responsible for preparing the funeral arrangements?
Well, my aunt started first because my mom and I, we were just so distraught. But when we took over it, I basically was in charge.
Okay, so, and where was the grave prepared? Where was the grave dug?
In the Western Cemetery.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously your brother is
Deceased.
dead and he is buried now. He's dead and buried, I imagine.
Yes,
He's not.
ma'am.
Right.
But my
Okay.
my Grammy wanted to be buried with him. That's why we got the double grave.
Has your grandmother since passed?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Thank God.
So what was the problem? I mean, did they dig the grave? What was it?
No.
Where was your brother buried?
He was buried in the Western grave,
Right.
but we were under the impression that it was going to be the double. We paid for the double. It was $1,000. Well, actually, it was $2,000 for the grave. The additional $1,000 that he's supposed to give me, that was from the NIB that he deducted, but did not return to me.
The death benefit?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So he deducted the NIB benefit, but he didn't give you. I don't understand. What do you mean?
He charged me the full price. Everything
Okay,
came up
so-
to $12,000.
Sorry?
Everything came up to $12,000
Yeah,
at the
'cause
funeral home.
Okay.
That included
hold
the.
on.
Sorry.
Hold on. First of all, I'm going to have to write it down.
Yes, ma'am.
So that I can record your evidence. Secondly, I then need to actually understand what it is you're saying is the balance that is due to you.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
you started out, the note that I had, that I referred to, that the clerk gave me, was that you were claiming the $2,000. And then you said there was an NIB benefit. So let's backtrack a little bit. So when was the grave prepared?
The grave, I don't know when they prepared it, but my brother was buried on the 30th of January, 2016.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the cost of the services provided by the funeral home?
Everything came up to $12,000.
Did you pay any of that yourself?
Well, my mother. My mom did.
Okay. So everything was $12,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how, and you all had the funeral?
Yes, ma'am.
And your brother was buried. So wouldn't you have found out when you went to the cemetery that it wasn't a double grave?
Yeah. And that was the issue because we paid for the double grave.
I see.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So tell me this part about the shoes now before I go to Mr. Rowe.
Well, my brother, before he got in the hospital, he worked his hip off for these shoes, $500 shoes, these Jordans, brand new Jordans. Never got a chance to wear them. Ended up in the hospital. Sadly, he passed. We wanted to basically give him the shoes back. We couldn't use them. So we
Right.
wanted him to be buried with the shoes. Now, this gentleman over here, he laughed at me when I said, put the shoes on his foot, saying that the casket was going to be closed. But we still persisted. So at the viewing, I look in the grave, no shoes. He said
the
that they would
grave.
be on, pardon?
You
I mean,
did.
sorry, the casket.
Okay.
Yeah, I look in the casket, there were no shoes on his foot. So at the actual not the graveside, at the actual funeral, I looked in again, still no shoes.
Okay. Who gave him the shoes?
I gave it to him myself,
I see.
in the box, brand new, in the box.
Okay. Yeah, but you didn't pay for the shoes, so how much you know? How do you know how much the shoes were?
Because that was my brother, we were like this.
I
He told
see.
me everything.
I see. Okay.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Carroll.
Number one, Miss Carey and I we never had a contract. The contract I had was with her mother, as she indicated.
He already admitted to all of this. He already was supposed to give me my money.
Justice with Judge Carroll is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, and more reliable. Together we are unstoppable. Switch today. To get your case heard, call 242-445-4955 or email us at info@judgecarroll.net.
A new year brings a new lineup. ZNS is bringing you what you want to watch, so don't blink. What's Trending Lifestyles in the Afternoon starts out the daily programming at 4 p.m. This is followed by Unleashed at 5 p.m., a show that dives headfirst into all topics ranging from headline grabbers to current events. At 6 p.m., Grand Bahama's The Bounce Back graces the airwaves, a review of Grand Bahama's recovery. 6:30 p.m. brings the news from Grand Bahama, and 7 p.m. brings The Big Show, the new Bahamas Tonight, followed by a continuation of news with the Bahamas Tonight Access Now at 7:30 p.m. News with a new twist. Surprise, surprise! At 8 p.m., The Rundown, nightly news analysis for all of the big stories of the day. And wrapping things up at 11 p.m. is The Bahamas Tonight, bringing you fresh news. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS.
Justice with Judge Carroll.
Judge, to your honor, madam, all of this is news to me this morning.
I see.
Okay? All of this is news to me. Number one, Miss Carey and I we never had a contract. The contract I had was with her mother, as she indicated.
Right. I was wondering about that. How come she knows so much information? Because she said the mother dealt with it, or the aunt, or somebody.
Precisely. It was her mother who came to me.
Okay.
And in reference to the, well, let's just deal primarily with the issue with the double grave.
Yes. Let me
As
hear
far
about
as
that.
I was concerned, and as if memory serves me correctly, Your Honor, ma'am, she only paid for a single grave.
Okay, do you
I
have
don't,
a
I don't know
copy
that
of the
this is
receipt?
issue. Well, I have my papers right here. If I can pass it on to the bailiff, and
Mr. Mackey,
he can show. It shows that she paid for a single grave. This whole issue this morning with reference to a double grave, this is news to me, Your Honor.
All right, so your position is then that you prepared a grave based on what was paid for
Precisely,
to your
Your
company.
Honor.
I see. Okay. And how much was a single grave?
The single grave was $2,000.
Okay, and how much was did your company deal with the total of the funeral arrangements?
Everything. We dealt with everything. The price
Okay.
that she quoted
Yes.
was correct. It
Okay.
was $12,000. There were no extras added to it. Everything was
All right.
covered.
Yes, okay, so what do you have to say, Miss Carey?
Your Honor, thank God we already been to court and I presented all my papers. The reason why we are here today is because there's a warrant of first arrest. The police ain't do nothing. He already admitted to all of this. He already was supposed to give me my money. We already been to court.
Silence.
I don't, so what I would need from you is the evidence of an admission or an order that was made in respect of the $2,000, whether it's a balance or whether it was the full amount or whatever have you. I don't see how, you're saying that you already went to court and he already admitted and agreed to pay the $2,000.
Yes, ma'am. He didn't come the last time. He sent somebody, he sent his secretary that time. And the judge, obviously, the secretary didn't know nothing. So the judge ordered the secretary to call him or they would issue a bench warrant for his arrest.
You went to court on this matter before, sir?
No, ma'am.
Did your secretary go to court on this
No,
matter
ma'am.
before?
Jesus, Lord of mercy.
Oh, you see, I keep having these situations where one party says one thing and then somebody else says something completely different, and there's no meeting of minds anywhere. Do you know this person?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay. You
Judge
did.
the Honor, if I may.
Yes.
This is the first time I'm laying eyes on this young lady this
Jesus.
morning.
Oh my God.
Okay, but you did do. Let's see what we could cull from this, whether there's some similarities in the story. Your company did do last rites burial for Justin Jones.
Yes, we did.
Okay, and this was from 2016.
January 2016, like I said, the mother contacted me.
Right.
All of the dealings in reference to preparing the service, going to caskets and everything else, making the determination, because like she said, that they wanted the son to be buried in the Western Cemetery. We accommodated all of that.
And what about the shoes now? What do you have to say about the shoes?
Judge the Honor, ma'am, I was waiting for that.
Right.
Okay? Yes, there were a pair of shoes that
Right.
were brought to us.
Okay.
Were
okay.
they put into the casket? No. If you know anything about
I
putting,
I don't.
you don't know anything about.
You tell me, because
yes,
you're the
I'm
funeral
enlightening
director.
you this morning,
Yes.
Judge the Honor.
Yes.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Carroll.
Your Honor, if he had put it on the side, we would have been happy. He didn't do it. And the shoe is still in my hand.
Shoes.
I have the shoes, Your Honor.
Oh, you have the shoes?
Yes, I
Where are
did.
the shoes?
And I brought the shoes to court this
Oh,
morning.
praise the Lord.
Jesus, this man told me he threw it away.
Oh,
I
praise
brought
the-
the shoes to court
Silence,
this morning.
silence.
Because
Justice with Judge Carroll, brought to you by Shop Smart. Shop early, shop often, shop smart. Love the show and want to sit in on the action? Call 242-445-4955 or email info@judgecarroll.net.
We pose like this, we look at the camera like this, little bit of attitude, yes. Bring the head room this way, no, a little bit more this way, bring the head down, pose, look at the camera like this.
So Cheryl,
Yeah.
what you doing, boy?
But you don't know. Today in this episode of The Sunshine Room, we are featuring a Bahamian model that got to work with brands like Nike and Calvin Klein. Bro, I gotta come correct. I gotta make sure I know how to model. What you mean?
One picture, Mr.
Yeah,
Hudson. That is good.
Let me tell y'all don't want to miss this one, so stay tuned.
Head over to our YouTube page to catch this week's episode of The Sunshine Room at ZNS Network.
Justice with Judge Carroll.
When you are putting a body into a casket,
Right.
normally you do not put anything other than the clothing that the individual is wearing.
Right.
You could not have put the shoes into the casket.
I mean, I thought it was kind of strange. I've never seen a full body thing. Normally you just see the first, but I
Yes,
don't know. I
yes.
thought maybe in her case it was a little
Yes,
different.
yes.
And that you had the whole body laid out and then you would have these shoes on. Or maybe you could have just put the shoes in the side. Couldn't he just maybe rest the shoes on the side?
Your Honor, if he had put it on the side, we would have been happy. He didn't do it. And the shoe is still in my hand.
Okay, so you got the shoes or you didn't get shoes?
I have the shoes, Your Honor.
Oh, you have the shoes?
Yes, I
Where
did.
are the shoes?
And I brought the shoes to court this
Oh,
morning.
praise the Lord.
Jesus, this man told me he threw it away.
Oh,
I
praise
brought
the-
the shoes to court
Silence,
this morning.
silence, silence, silence.
Because, Judge, Your Honor, when I finally got wind of this, that I was being brought to court,
Yes.
I said, you know something? As I went back in the recesses of my memory,
Right.
I discovered, I went back, because like I said, we're out of business, but I still have the building.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, you're out of business now?
Yeah. We
So I
went
can't
bankrupt,
come to you when
know.
I'm gone.
Yeah, it's
White
but
people
I
can't.
so I went
Please
back
don't.
once I got the warrant. I said, and I checked my,
Oh,
my records.
and you got a warrant?
Yes, I
Yes,
did
okay.
get the. Why do you think I'm here this morning, Your Honor?
Okay,
Huh?
all right.
So I wasn't trying to run away from the law. If I felt that I had done something wrong,
Yes.
then I have to come and face the music.
Right,
So
right.
I went back into the office and I discovered the shoes there.
Okay.
Because in the warrant it indicated there was something about some shoes and January 26th, and then I said, oh yes, I remember that individual.
Yes,
And I remember
yes.
the mother. Like I said, I've never set eyes on this young
I see.
lady.
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
don't disagree with some of the things that she would have said about the shoes.
Yes.
Now about the other part about the plot and everything else, no, because
Okay,
the
well, I
mother
have
and
a receipt here that says it was a single plot that you were paid for.
Yes.
And that's what you did. So I've got the paperwork here from him. Ma'am, I don't have the paperwork from you saying either that he was at court, there was an order ordering him to pay or anything of that nature. But I mean, if you have the shoes, let me see the shoes then. Corporal Mackey, you can get those from him.
Never. Never. Oh my God.
Rest it right here. Rest it right here.
Oh, Jesus, this.
Okay, all right. Well, okay, so you could give her the shoes then.
Your Honor, I don't need them shoes. They're mine.
My
Brother with Your Honor, my brother, he collected Jordans.
Right,
He don't wear those kind of shoes.
right.
This.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Unfortunately, Miss Carey, there are a couple of difficulties with your claim, right? The Mr. Roll, of course, he's not a lawyer. I wouldn't necessarily expect him to have raised this point. But you have a really, one of the problems that you have is that the claim is statute barred because of the amount of time that has passed from 2016 to now. You would normally have 3 years to bring your claim. But in any event, even if you're saying that you had an order that was made more recently than that, and he admits that he got served with a warrant, apparently arising out of those other proceedings, you haven't brought to this court any evidence to indicate that you have a claim against Mr. Roll, other than you say so, right? You say you went to court and you got an order for him to pay the $2,000. I don't have a copy of the order. I don't have any paperwork from you indicating that there was anything different than what is on here. He's produced his invoice for a single plot. You say that it was a double plot. So I don't have the evidence from you And then he's brought me a pair of shoes. Now, I don't know what those other shoes look like. So maybe they're your brother's shoes, maybe they're not his shoes. But I don't have, like I said, even if you had brought some documentation to say what those shoes were, right? So what I'm left with, ma'am, is that unfortunately, I am not satisfied that you have proved your case against Mr. Roll, and your claim for $2,000 is dismissed. That's the judgment of the court.
All rise.
Judge Carroll has ruled in favor of the defendant.
That judge is a crook. And I believe Mr. Road, that old, oh my God, he's the devil. Good thing his funeral home closed down. The two of them in cahoots together.
I felt this morning's proceedings and the outcome, justice was served.